Have you ever felt stuck? Like no matter how hard you try, something always seems to block your path? Maybe it's a failed plan, a broken relationship, or a dream that seems just out of reach. If that's you, you're not alone. And here's the truth no one tells you. Obstacles are not your enemy. In fact, they can be your greatest advantage. Sounds unbelievable, right? But stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you'll see how the very challenges you're facing today can become the stepping stones to your greatest successes. Ready to flip the script on obstacles? Let's get started. Life, at its core, is a journey. And like any journey, the road isn't always smooth. Sometimes you'll come across detours, potholes, or even storms that force you to stop and recalibrate. But here's the thing. These challenges aren't there to stop you permanently. They're there to test you, to stretch you, and to teach you. Think about some of the most successful people in the world. Do you think their journeys were easy? Thomas Edison tried over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. Imagine how easy it would have been for him to give up after his first, second, or even 100th failure. But he didn't. Why? Because he understood that failure wasn't a sign to quit. It was a necessary part of the process. When we face obstacles, our immediate reaction is often frustration. We think, why me? Why now? But what if we reframe that thinking? What if we asked instead, what can this teach me? How can this help me grow? Every obstacle you encounter is like a hidden teacher, waiting to reveal a lesson. It might not feel like it in the moment, but trust me, the lessons are there. One of the most powerful tools you have when facing obstacles is your mindset. And I'm not talking about fake positivity or pretending everything's fine when it's not. I'm talking about genuinely shifting the way you see challenges. Imagine this. You're hiking up a steep mountain trail. The path gets harder the higher you go. Your legs burn, your breath shortens, and part of you wants to turn around and go back. But then you remind yourself why you started. You remind yourself of the view waiting at the top. Suddenly, the struggle doesn't feel pointless. It feels meaningful. That's the power of reframing. Obstacles aren't here to break you, they're here to build you. But this only works if you're willing to shift your focus. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Try asking, what is this teaching me? That one change in perspective can transform frustration into fuel. It's important to remember that every challenge you face is shaping you into a stronger, wiser, and more capable version of yourself. The process might not be easy, but the growth you'll experience is worth it. Let's talk about transformation. How you can take an obstacle and turn it into an opportunity. Now, this doesn't happen by accident. It requires intention, effort, and sometimes a little bit of faith. Let's look at an example. Imagine you've been working hard at a job, pouring your heart and soul into it, and then one day, out of nowhere, you're let go. For most people, that would feel devastating, and understandably so. Losing your job isn't just about money. It's about your sense of purpose, your identity. But here's where the magic happens. Some people take that loss and turn it into a chance to start something new. Maybe they finally pursue a passion they've been putting off. Maybe they start a business or learn a skill they've always wanted to master. What separates these people from the rest? It's not that they're smarter or luckier. It's that they choose to see the opportunity hidden within the obstacle. They don't focus on what they've lost. They focus on what they can gain. This shift doesn't happen overnight. It takes time to reframe setbacks as setups for something greater. But once you start practicing this mindset, you'll notice a difference. You'll begin to see that even in the darkest moments, there's always a spark of light if you're willing to look for it. One of the greatest gifts obstacles give us is resilience. And let me tell you, resilience is one of the most valuable traits you can develop. Why? Because life is unpredictable. No matter how much you plan, things won't always go your way. Resilience is what allows you to keep going, even when the odds are stacked against you. Think of resilience like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Every time you face a challenge and push through, you're training yourself to handle the next one. And here's the beauty of it. Resilience doesn't just help you survive tough times, it helps you thrive in them. Remember when you were a kid learning to ride a bike? You probably fell a bunch of times. Maybe you even scraped your knees. But each fall taught you something. How to balance, how to steer, how to trust yourself. Life's obstacles are no different. They might knock you down, but each one teaches you how to stand up stronger than before. Here's the truth. Nothing changes unless you take action. You can have the best mindset in the world, but if you don't act on it, nothing will happen. Obstacles don't disappear on their own. You have to face them head on. Action doesn't have to be big or dramatic. In fact, it's often the small, consistent steps that make the biggest difference. Let's say you're struggling with a big project at work. Instead of getting overwhelmed by the size of the task, break it down into smaller, more manageable parts. Focus on one thing at a time. As you make progress, your confidence will grow, and the obstacle that once seemed impossible will start to feel doable. The key is to start. Don't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect plan. Start where you are, with what you have. Progress, no matter how small, is still progress. Your attitude is everything when it comes to overcoming obstacles. The way you choose to respond to a challenge can completely change the outcome. Let me give you an example. Imagine two people facing the same problem. Let's say they both fail an important exam. One person gets discouraged and gives up, thinking, "I'm just not smart enough." The other person sees the failure as a wake-up call. They ask themselves, "What can I do differently next time?" And they work harder, seek help, and eventually pass. The obstacle was the same, but the outcomes were completely different. And the only difference was attitude. So when life throws a challenge your way, ask yourself, am I focusing on the problem or am I focusing on the solution? At the end of the day, obstacles are not here to define you. They're here to refine you. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become a better version of yourself. It's not about avoiding obstacles. It's about embracing them, using them as fuel, and letting them propel you toward your goals. Remember, the road to success isn't a straight line. It's filled with twists, turns, and yes, obstacles. But each one brings you closer to where you're meant to be. So, the next time you're faced with a challenge, don't shy away from it. Lean into it, use it, and watch as it transforms you into the person you were always meant to become. Thank you for watching. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, your obstacles aren't the end of the story. They're just the beginning. See you in the next video.